Pagina 384 en op internet onder www.rvu.nl.
De oorlog vernietigt.
Move. I've not been wanting to do my work at school, and I think my grades have dropped a bit because I can't concentrate. I just want to become friends again.
Vicky goes to Carterton Community College in Oxfordshire. It's a typical school with no more or less bullying than most. Kids at Carterton have done their own video survey on bullying.
I think it's pathetic how people pick on smaller people or people with a difference and just usually in places get away with it. That's why they do it so much.
I got bullied by Lisa.
And I regret it, I do. What happened then?
Well, mainly when we were in primary school and I was like quite new and they used to leave me out all the time and call me names and stuff.
How did it make you feel?
But I felt like there must be something wrong with me because they were bullying me, and if I was like normal, then they wouldn't be bullying me in the first place.
Just because they're different or whatever, you know, everybody is different, and it's not the people around them that. I mean, not everybody stands up to the bullies that are around you because they don't feel, you know, strong enough in that.
Most bullying is invisible to adults. Until now, the schools always punish bullying, so getting kids to report it has been a problem. This term, teachers are trying out a new anti-bullying policy. It's called the no blame approach. No blame means no punishment. And not everyone's sure it's going to work.
Thank you for coming to see me. I had a letter from your mum last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
Which basically said things haven't been very good the last few weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been unhappy?
3 months.
It's been about 3 months, right? That's quite a long time then. And when did you speak to your mum?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Right. And what did she say when you spoke to her?
If it kept going on, she was going to send a note in.
Which is what she did. So does that mean that things have been carrying on?
Yeah.
Right. So your mum said there was some name calling going on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I came into the playground where the path is split, and they shouted slap her across the playground.
Oh, right. And how did that make you feel?
Upset.
Yeah? Why was that?
Because she shouted it for no apparent reason. Because, like, her dad and my dad are friends, my mum wasn't quite sure about sending a note in at first, but she ended up sending one in.
Why were you worried about sending a note
in case things got worse.
Right, I see. That's quite interesting because what we're doing as a school now is we're starting to look at your kind of situation and we're looking at a different way of doing things. If we leap in as teachers, we can get maybe a bit heavy-handed sometimes, and it makes people like you think, oh, well, if I tell, I'll get into more trouble. Do you know that feeling? Yeah. Well, this approach we're going to try says nobody's to blame, but everybody's going to be responsible for putting it right. So what I'd like to do, Vicky, is I'd like to get together a small group of people from your tutor group. So I think maybe that list of, 4 names that you gave me there, and the 2 other people that you wrote about in the letter, I think if we got a group of those 6 together, what I'd like to do is, I don't want you to come, I want you to trust me. I want you to trust me to speak on your behalf. So I can sit there and I can say to them, I've got a problem, can I tell you how Vicky's feeling? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to them, well, this is the situation, how can we sort it out? What can we do to put it right? How does that sound?
All right.
Sounds all right. So you're happy for that to go ahead?
Yeah. I just didn't feel like going to school because I didn't think there was no point in going if I was just going to be left out and called names, and I wasn't going to concentrate, so I wasn't going to learn anything. worst times at school are in the playgrounds at lunchtime and break time, because that's when she's shouting out names. And at lunchtime she's with more people, so she gets worse.
We used to get picked on when we first came to the school because of our size. Sean's fairly small and I'm small.
Just because, like, they're there, or if they're small or something, or if they're little and if they've got glasses and they're not very confident. Immature people sort of do it in that, and, like, they're trying to get power and stuff like that, and they do it to sort of get all the power out of the person they're bullying and that, to make them, like, really self-confident and that, and to gain mates and do it. So, like, if they think they're bullying that, they think they're really hard and stuff like this, but they're not.
Well, first of all, thanks for coming. The reason I've asked you to get together is because you're all people in the same tutor group, and I've got a problem. I've got a problem with something that's going on in the tutor group, and I'd like you to help me solve it. I had a long conversation.
Vicky's teacher, Sarah Northall, has put together a no-blame group. Only 2 of them are the bullies.
It's a suspected, but she's actually not very happy at the moment. What she talked about yesterday was the fact that she's got to the point where she doesn't actually want to come into school. She's feeling afraid. And one of the things she's afraid of is she feels like people are being turned against her. And she's scared that she's going to end up being alone, and that she's not going to have people who are on her side, on her team. And that's made her feel really, well, the words she used to me were upset. She said she was feeling angry. I think she felt she was a bit betrayed as well. And the thing which came out really strongly was that she said she was confused, because she didn't really understand why things hadn't been going very well for the last 3 months or so. And what I wanted to try and do was to say, well, nobody's in trouble. Nobody has been in trouble, nobody's going to be in trouble. What we can do is we can put things right. Instead of looking at what's gone before, we can look ahead. We can say, OK, starting from today, what can we do to help Vicky? Yeah, Stephen.
Well, if anyone says anything about Vicky that maybe we don't like, don't always believe it. Try and find out for ourselves, not go along with what everyone else says.
OK, so what are you going to do then personally, Stephen? Make it you. Make it an I sentence.
Yeah. Not judge Vicky by what other people are saying. Judge her by what I think, not what other people.
So you're not going to judge Vicky by other people's standards?
If you make her think she's, like, have lots of friends, then she won't be scared to come back to school.
Right, so how can you let her know?
Just be a friend as well.
So what can you do? What can you do to be her friend?
Play with her.
Right, I could play with her. What kind of games do you get up to then?
Nothing, just sit and talk usually.
Yeah? So sit and have a good chat with her. OK. So, either of you two got something for us?
Well, we could, like, help her to, like, and become friends with everyone else and work with each other.
You can help her become friends with other people. How can that happen? How can you do that?
Well, be her friend and encourage her to be in our group and...
So what you're saying is I can encourage her to be in my group? Yeah? That's great. Thank you. Leslie?
We could, like, cheer her up when she's, like, unhappy or something.
Cheer her up? How could you do that then, Leslie?
Like, say, talk to her, see what's wrong and stuff like that.
OK, so it's talking to her. So what can you personally do then, Leslie?
Ask her what's wrong and...
You can ask her what's wrong, so I can ask her what's wrong if she looks unhappy.
Yeah.
And what we've got here is we've got a list of 6 very positive things, yeah? 6 very positive things which can make a difference to that. But it's over to you. It's your job now. I'm not in your tutor group. I'm not the person mixing with Vicky day in, day out. It's over to you. I've thought about this a lot because of my own experience in school. I am absolutely certain that one of the girls in my tutor group when I was in the 3rd year at school, if she'd sat around in a no-blame group and heard a description of how unhappy she'd made me, she'd be absolutely delighted, because having sort of put a lot of effort into pretending that it was all water off a duck's back, she kept doing it to get a response and to get a response. I think she probably would have felt very, very satisfied. And I think that's where the whole issue of having to know the children that you're putting together in the group really, really comes into play, because you need to know whether it's a child who's going to get some kind of gratification from it.
I told the teacher, but that just made it worse because she didn't actually do anything except for talk to them.
I went and told my mum, and I didn't bother telling any teachers because it always happened outside of school.
I told my friends, and they helped.
So you didn't tell your parents?
No, I wouldn't tell my parents.
Why not?
Because they go too far. I did that before, and they go, "Oh, well, I'll go in or anything," and I go, "No, Mum, I don't think you should go that far."
Why wouldn't you want them to come into school?
It would be embarrassing when they call us names again.
It would be embarrassing, and then they pick on our mums.
OK, Cheryl, thanks for coming to see me, OK? Because I gather from a member of staff that you're not feeling very happy at the moment. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a few people that are just, you know, annoying me and calling me names and that, and it's starting to hurt me a lot. Right, so when you say it's starting to hurt you, can you elaborate a little bit on that for me? I just feel lonely and, you know, not part of a... I mean, there's so many groups in the school to be with, and I'm not with any of them. And so you feel you don't really belong? You feel as though you're on the outside, really? And is this affecting you out of school as well as in school? I've really got a lot of homework lately. I just haven't been able to concentrate on anything. I just go home and get upset. Right, so you really... can I ask you, have you been home and cried, for example? I mean, sometimes I do. I just don't like doing it in front of my parents and that, but... Of course not. Some nights I just can't get to sleep because I just can't stop thinking about it. Right, and how long has this been going on for, then? It's been on and off for about as long as I can remember. Really? So we're talking here not just sort of weeks, but more months, but really we're talking then years. And, I mean, sometimes it just gets so much that I find it hard to handle when I talk to my parents and that, but it doesn't go away. Right. So I thought I'd better do something about it. Good. Actually, you've done the best thing you can by telling somebody that there is a problem, because now that we know there's a problem, then clearly together we can all do something about that, can't we? Yeah, I like my own company, but I'd like to be part of a gang and, you know, go round with them and have fun, because at the moment I just stay on my own and do things on my own. And I've done that all the time, and I just like to get out and about and do things with other people. Quite a few people, they use me to have a laugh out of, and I'm always the one that they want to have a joke with, and they just say some things which are quite hurtful, you know, about my appearance and other things like that, and it just hurts a lot, and I haven't really done anything about it in the past, 'cause it's been going on for quite a long time, but I thought I'd better do something now, because, I mean, it's just getting on top of me and interfering with my work. They just say how ugly I look, and, I mean, someone actually told me to go and commit suicide because they couldn't stand looking at me, and it's things like, it's just small little things which just, like, get to you all the time, and when it's repeated by so many people, it can just hurt you a lot. I get very, it's like tight, and I just don't know what to do, and I just go home, and usually I end up standing in front of a mirror and just shouting at the mirror all the time, and because I can't say it to the people doing it to me. And sometimes when I get upset at home, I make my mum upset as well, and it's hurting her as well now. And she was all for coming up here and having a right go at everybody, but I said that I was sorting it out and that I was going to get there, and it just makes me feel so down and depressed, and I just don't feel as if I want to do anything. I just usually lie down and just stay there in bed in the dark. It just helps me calm down. I'd just like them to stop and to think about what they're doing. Maybe if they knew what they were doing, then they'd be that bit nicer. And if only a couple of them stopped what they were doing, then it'd make me feel a whole lot better than I do now.
Do you think it's important to have friends when you're getting bullied?
Yeah, it is, because you've got people there. Friends are more likely to listen to you and share your problem. They might have even been through a similar experience themselves. And then you won't feel so bad.
If you've got someone to stick up for you when you're like, you don't know what to say or you're feeling down or whatever, then, you know, and also you've got someone to boost up your confidence when you're out of school and that, telling you stuff and that, and just, you know, basically being there when you need someone to talk to and that.
Now, what we need to decide between us is what each of us individually can do to make her feel much, much happier in herself. Shirley?
Make her feel more welcome.
And how could you do that, love?
It's like in our drama group, we can always offer, do you want to...
Right, so you're...
Come with us and...
Right, so you're going to be saying to her, please come and join in.
Out, so
right,
okay. Make her feel more welcome.
So you can do that. Thanks, Shirley. That would be a great help.
I've noticed in drama that she's not on her own. She's always working in a group. But she's always in the corner,
right,
not really talking to anyone, keeping herself to herself.
So what can you do to help her in that?
I'm not sure.
Approach her.
Yeah, I'll approach her and talk to her, really.
Yeah, and if you need a female part within your group, perhaps you can offer that to her. Would that be a possibility?
Yeah.
I've noticed some people do take the mick or make fun of her behind her back.
Right.
And I could try to, when they do that, just say to them, please don't.
Yes.
Yeah. If you see it happening.
If you see it happening, actually, instead of just standing there and doing nothing, and in a way then you condone it, don't you? Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Claire?
Bring her into our group at break times and lunch times so that she's not on her own.
Excellent, because break times and lunch times can be very lonely times, can't they, if you feel that you don't belong. So you could make a point at break time or lunch time of including her in your group. Mm-hmm. Already I'm beginning to feel that if we put these things into place, then life is going to improve for her.
I was bullied because I was fat, and I was bullied for ages. People think it's funny what they call me and that, but it wasn't. They call me Mrs. Blobby and Tank and all these sort of things, and it really, really hurts you. And it takes all your self-confidence away in that. And I mean, I was big, but it was no need for them to do it in that. And I mean, I lost my weight in that after I lost about 4 stone after they'd done it in that, which I shouldn't have done because. I shouldn't have done it because they had been bullying me. I should have done it for me. Have you ever been bullied?
I have.
What was that? What were they doing to you?
It wasn't a physical or anything. They'd be swearing at me stuff, saying I was small, goggle-eyed, stuff like that.
These boys who are in year 9 now, after school or on my way to school, they just beat me up and pushed me around. And I went home with a black eye once or twice.
He's thinking, I don't want to get ready for school tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen when I get in. I don't know what names I'm going to be called. I don't know what kind of rhymes people are going to make up about me. I don't know what water's going to be sprayed over me from trees. I don't know whether I'm going to be allowed into the cloakroom or not. I don't know if people are going to tell me whether I smell or not. And he actually says that Sunday evenings are the worst. It's like the start of a new week. He's had a good weekend away from school, and it's like, got to come back to school.
When I told some of my friends that I was going to be in one episode of EastEnders, and none of them believed me. So then, when I actually was on, because I told them it at the wrong date, and then it came on, and they were all, "Oh, you weren't on." And then when I actually did come on, they all said, "Oh, that wasn't you, that was him. We saw his face." But it was 2 separate shots. So we were filmed on different days, and it was really me. And that's when people started giving me a hard time.
Why? Because they said, what did they say?
Well, they said "Oh, you're such a liar. Oh, you're stupid. You just said that so you could get friends, so people would pay attention to you." And it wasn't that at all. It was truth. Because they think acting is for girls, I suppose. I don't know.
I said to him, well, OK, Jonathan, what do you want to happen now? And I'll read you his exact words. He said, "I just want it to stop." He said, "I'm not looking for best friends. I'm just looking for it to stop."
I mean, if you hit someone, it hurts for a minute. If you call someone a name, it can hurt for a long time. So it was all the name calling and that, so I just thought, I can't stand this anymore. So I told the teachers.
Now that you know how he's feeling, I want to put the challenge to you. What are you going to promise to do?
Say hello when you come into school.
Right, that's nice. It's really simple and straightforward, isn't it? Okay.
You could ask him what he did over the weekend and talk to him.
That's an interesting idea, right? Yeah. So can you put that into a sentence that begins with I? I am going to...
And I'm going to talk to him about what he did over the weekend and stuff like that.
Adrian, you had your hand up.
There's like a fair or something, so are you going down there?
Oh, right. Yeah, so sort of trying to get him involved in things, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I like that.
He gets pushed about a lot, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You just help him out.
Did you help him out when he pushed about? So what did you actually do? I don't really want to start a fight, do we? That'd be a bit serious, wouldn't it?
He's just like,
Ollie the hero ends up in trouble. That'd be a bit of a tragedy. How did you do it? I think you got a good idea there, but how did you
it's
do
like push him back and walk off.
Do you think hands and feet and fists and things are the best way to do that? Can you sum it up for me? I'm going to...
I just help him out if he gets pushed about anything.
That's great. I'm going to write those exact words down. So it's over to you now. You've made these promises. You suggested them. They're such good suggestions. If they all came off, we could turn Jonathan's life around in days. In fact, we could turn it around in a day, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Because you're emphasising that no one's in trouble, it's then quite difficult to encourage the particular people that you would want to take responsibility for their wrongdoing to see that they do have a different responsibility from the others in the group. So if I think of the group we had with Jonathan this morning, you know, there were sort of 2 or 3 lads in particular that I would have wanted to come away from this morning thinking, gosh, yes, I've done some wrong things here, I can put them right. And there were sort of a couple of other lads in the group that I wanted to see, oh gosh, I don't like the way I found out those boys had been behaving. But I'm not quite sure that that's how they came away from the group. I suspect that maybe there was a stronger sense of, oh, I'm not really quite sure what that was all about, but I'll go along with it and we'll just sort of keep our heads down and see what happens. And if the end result is that Jonathan has a better time, then I don't think it really matters.
I think it's a load of rubbish, really, but some of it is good.
Yeah,
the way that
right.
they, like, tell the bullies how the actual victim feels. I think that's quite a good part.
Do you think it's a good idea that bullies don't get punished?
No. Bullies should always get punished because they're the people that are doing wrong here. You know, you can't punish. The punishment has to be shipped out somewhere.
Do you think that bullies should be punished?
Yes, I do.
How?
I think that they should be frightened a bit because that way they might learn how it feels to be bullied.
OK, thanks for coming up. What we want to do is to have a follow-up to the meeting we had last week, OK? This time it's going to be a little bit different because instead of meeting you all together, I'm going to see each one of you individually, OK? It will just be a brief conversation. We'll find out how things have gone, all right? Because we made a lot of statements about what we were going to do, and we're going to have to see how that's gone and see what the situation is now. Is that OK?
Yeah.
Good. This morning, when we were coming into school, you caught up with me at the traffic lights, didn't you?
Yep.
What was it you told me?
That I was friends with Vicky.
That's brilliant.
I've been hanging around with her.
That's brilliant. So, what was it that you'd said you were going to do as a result of our last meeting?
I said I was going to talk to her and try and sort things out.
That's brilliant. So you've actually done that. Was that easy, hard?
It was quite hard at first because she ignored me. I think she was just scared that I was going to do something.
Oh, right.
But I just had a long talk with her and my friends.
That's brilliant. So it's a case of building up trust again?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So how are things now?
They're all right.
Yeah? Brilliant. That's super. It's going to keep going?
Yeah.
So how do you think things have been then?
All right.
Yeah? Do you think they've got better?
Yeah.
Were you surprised when you heard how Vicky was feeling?
Yeah.
Why was that?
Well, when I usually saw her, she looked quite happy, and I didn't know she was like really sad and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't always show on the face, does it?
No.
That's why it's good that you're asking her how she is. That's brilliant. So you're going to stick with it?
Yeah.
That's good. And how's it made you feel?
Like I've achieved something.
I said that I'd tell her that I was her friend.
Excellent. Did you do that?
Yeah.
What did you say to her?
Well, I said that all of us, like, speaking about Stephen and Les, were all your friends and we would all be there for you anytime you needed us.
Oh, that's brilliant. How did she react when you said that?
She sort of like, she smiled.
Excellent. What, whole face lit up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I was going to encourage her to come in my group by telling her she's my friend and that.
All right. And did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a smile on your face when you say that. Yeah? So what, did you actually go up to her and speak to her, or?
Yeah, and then we started walking back from school together and things.
Excellent. What was it you said you were going to do as a result of the meeting we had last time?
I said that I would speak to her and tell her what things annoy me about her so she can make that a bit better.
Gosh, that's a very direct thing, isn't it?
But then
Does that mean she's allowed to do the same thing back to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. So have you had any heart-to-heart conversations with her?
I haven't yet, but I do say hi to her and speak to her a bit more than I did.
Right.
Now we know how she's been feeling.
So how's that made a difference then?
Well, she seems to be hanging around with us a lot more and looks a lot happier joining the tutor group.
Oh, that's good. How have things been since then?
Well, at first, she started speaking to me, but I thought she was only going to start picking on me after a couple of days. But then about half a week afterwards, we started speaking.
That's brilliant. So how did that happen? Did you go and find her? Did she come and find you? What happened?
Well, there's this park run in my house, and she usually comes down. And I went down there to talk to one of my friends, and this girl called Kelly went up to her and said, would she speak with me? And we started speaking and made friends.
That's brilliant. I'm really glad to hear that. So how are you feeling about coming to school in the morning and things like that now?
Right.
Yeah? What about the other people who were involved in the group? Have they said certain things that they were going to do to help make the situation better? Do you think that group of 6 has followed through? Do you think they've kept their promises?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kinds of things have they been doing to make things better?
Asking me if I want to walk home with them.
Oh, that's good.
And stuff.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, summing it up then, how are you feeling about school now?
Confident.
Confident, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we wanted, isn't it?
Have you ever been a bully?
Yeah.
What were you doing to the other person?
I was like swearing at them, calling them names. That was at the time when I was getting bullied. It made me feel good.
Didn't you think that they would be hurting?
Well, it just made me feel good.
I know lots of people have been bullied.
You do? Did they ever tell anybody?
Yes.
And what happened?
I got a detention.
Have you ever been accused of bullying someone?
Yep. And I can admit to bullying someone. And now I am reasonably good friends with the person.
So what were you saying to them or doing to them?
Just calling them names like, oh, you're fat, and that's basically it.
Didn't you ever think that was hurting them, or did you just think it was a laugh?
I just thought it was a laugh, but now looking back, it was a bit tight.
So it's a week now since we last met.
Yeah.
And we got together to talk about Jonathan's situation.
Yeah.
And you made a promise, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was your promise?
Say hello when I saw him.
Mm-hmm. How's that gone?
Yeah, when I seen him, I said hi and everything.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
Don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how he was feeling, or did you guess he might have been quite upset?
Bit surprised.
Mm-hmm. In what way?
Didn't know it was going on.
All right. All right. So how did you feel when you heard how unhappy he was? You know, when you sat around this table last week, how did it make you feel?
Bit sorry for him.
So has that made it easy to stick to the promise, do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So what kinds of chats have you had with him this week then?
Well, I talked to him in PE and lessons, like in science and stuff like that. In PE, I was just talking to him about. I asked him if he's going to the disco.
Oh, that's this week, isn't it?
Yeah. And just sort of stuff.
Is he chatting back as well? Oh, that's really good news. What was it you promised to do?
I thought I'd invite him to places and ask if he's going.
Right, and how's that gone as a promise? Has it been easy to stick to or hard?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, I asked him what he was doing on the weekend and we was doing these magic eye things in the library.
Oh, excellent. Sometimes I can do them, and other times they just kind of don't cooperate at all. Is he any good at them?
Yeah.
What about you?
No.
Or what did you promise to do?
I'd help him out if he got in trouble or anything.
Right. Have you had to do that?
Not really. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, there's a couple of girls having a go at him, so I told them.
Right. That's brilliant. So, is the situation sorted?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? You're not utterly convinced then?
No.
So you think one or two people are still bubbling a bit? What's going to happen about that? If there's trouble going on, what are you going to do?
Tell them I'll leave them alone.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Tell me about it. What's been going on since last Monday?
They've been really nice to me, you know.
That must be such a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So has there been any nastiness at all?
No.
So it's been a sort of a complete 100% turnaround?
Yeah.
Do you think probably that will kind of just wear off?
Not really.
No,
I mean, they seem quite, you know.
Genuine?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's really good. Because, I mean, what you were saying was you just wanted the situation to stop. You're saying you weren't looking for a new set of best friends. So that's quite interesting, because at the moment you've got a group of people who are going out of their way to come and chat to you. I gather you're working in small groups with a couple of people as well.
Yeah, I was in science.
Yeah. What were you doing in the science?
We were making a presentation on the human body.
Right. Would that have worried you being in that small group before? Would you have been a bit anxious maybe about any of the people there?
Probably.
Right. So it's actually meant you can get on and get more out of the lessons?
Yeah.
Good. What about break times and lunch times? Because, you know, they're sort of going in and out of the dining room and the cloakroom situation.
Well, every time they see me, they always say, "Oh, hi, John, what are you doing?" and stuff.
So have we cracked it?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
I could relate to how she felt because when I was younger, I didn't really have many friends. I had a few. I understood how Cheryl felt, and I was quite happy to do something about it and try and make the problem go away, because I think it's one of the worst things that can happen when you've got no one to speak to. It's bad enough when not having anyone to speak to every day, but when you need someone to speak to and you can't, it gets much worse.
Because you have to bottle it inside. And I think that's why she ended up like crying with Mr. Shigula, because it all built up. I mean, it's horrible. Even if you haven't got somebody to speak to for a day or a few days, if you've had an argument, it's bad enough. But for such a long time, it builds up.
I know I've been guilty of it. And that's one of the reasons I was pleased to be involved in this. Because I know I can't go back and change what I said, but I can do something about it, which I think is more important.
Well, I've noticed a big difference.
Really?
In the reactions, yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about what you've noticed?
Well, they're going out their way to be nice, and they're just generally, you know, saying hello and asking me what I'm doing and all that, and they're just generally talking to me a lot more.
Good. And do you feel that is genuine and not just put on? I mean, do you feel that is genuine and comes from the heart, really?
Yeah, I think it is. I think I'll be able to tell if it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think they really mean what they're saying.
So you're being involved more now, because when I spoke to you originally, you were saying you felt that you were being isolated and left out, and, you know, there's lots of groups in school, aren't there? And it didn't matter which one we talked about, you felt as though you were being isolated. So within the tutor group now, have things improved there?
Yeah, I mean, when we do group work and that, I'm asked to go in groups, and I'm generally much more accepted into them. It's a lot better.
How are you feeling about your work now?
Well, I've managed to get my coursework in on time, so
Excellent.
I've managed to concentrate on it, you know, more than I did, and I spend more time on it now instead of thinking about what was going on.
Right, so your head's not just full of, you know, feeling unhappy, but actually full of other things as well now. So it's kind of been better in school for you, and it's been better at home. You going out and about at home?
Yeah, I'm going out a bit more, and probably go to the disco with Shirley tomorrow night as well. So
that's good then.
Should be fun.
Lovely. Yeah, it will be fun. I know, that's good. And of course, if you are behind with anything, you've sort of 6 weeks now, haven't you, to get back on track. So you're feeling a lot happier, that's the main thing. A lot happier, good.
I mean, they've all gone out their way to be really, really nice. Especially Shirley and that, and I was surprised because Jonathan, right, gave a really bad reaction, and he's been really nice today. Thought that was so shocking. I've actually enjoyed myself for once. And Andrew and Shirley, they've all been so kind.
Will it last?
Well, I think it will last, yeah. I mean, I think they've actually thought about what they're doing now. Yeah. In English today, one of them was don't make sure they're not picking on you or anything like that. If they're picking on you, we sort of that for you. It was so funny.
It's not it, is it?
I know it's not it. But, you know, as long as they're kind and it stays like this, you know, I'm really enjoying it. No, it's good. I'm glad. I hope it lasts. You happy?
Yeah, fine.
I know, you're a bit worried about whether it'd work or not, but it will work.
I think that we have to accept that we don't live in a perfect world. I think we have to accept that people cause unhappiness to others. Sometimes that's deliberate, sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's passing, sometimes it's ongoing. I think we should always seek to minimise that. I think we should always seek to support people who are feeling that way. But I think it's also dangerous to wrap people in cotton wool.
What do you think is the best way to stop bullying?
I don't think there really is a best way to stop bullying, yeah. Because, like, the bullies will do it. Like, it's just if they get caught, then they'll feel bad about it, but they'll probably just move on to someone else, somewhere else and stuff like that.
I think there should be some blame on the bully because they shouldn't be doing it in the first place, but it's good that they know how the victim feels.
But it's like sometimes like the bully only picks on people because they've been picked on themselves. That's why I picked on Danielle, because they, like, boys used to take the mickey out my last name, so I used to sort of take all my anger out on someone else that I knew I could get on, so I used to do it to Danielle.
What do you think of the no blame approach? I think it's quite good because at least somebody's trying to stop bullying, although it won't stop throughout the world. But if one person hears about this in a different school, they could just start a group and do it themselves.